I know that's a bold freaking statement and people are gonna come for me. They can't afford it. Pool is shrinking and shrinking in terms of the jobs that are out there. You know, it's no secret that tech layoffs are rampant right now. We're seeing tons and tons of companies, no matter small or large, laying off people, and even worse, rescinding job offers. Ugh, and it's already bad enough that gas prices are so freaking expensive and the economy is looking kind of grim. And the UX design industry is just so saturated with so many designers with 0 years of experience, and I just don't really see that slowing down anytime soon. Could I get a tall iced latte with oat milk? Oh my gosh, this lady ordered like 10 drinks. Like, how many people she got in that car? Hi, thank you. So is it really worth it right now during this time to become a UX designer? Should you pour all of your time and money into something that might not really pay off? All right, so before we start, I really wanted to be clear about something. I know it's a really daunting time, so I wanted to help you by thinking about what I would do if I was in this situation back when I wanted to become a UX designer. What you do ultimately will be up to you based on your own personal situation. So, you know I have to say this, but per usual, don't come at me, bro. So the big question is, should you change your career into UX design right now? So I'm gonna go over a few points on why I think you should and some points on maybe why you shouldn't, along with talking about if it's really worth it during this time. Here are some points on why I think you should change into a career in UX design. You should change into UX design if you have room to take financial risks. So before I enrolled in a UX bootcamp, I made sure that I was going to be set up financially before I went down that path. So not only saving money for while you're in your boot camp or program or learning UX, but also thinking about after you complete it or graduate. I wasn't fully sure how long everything was going to take, and I didn't know what my future was going to hold. So typically when I save, I like to have at least 6 months worth of savings just to lean back on as a safety net and really feel secure. I also just mentioned length, and that's kind of important to keep a pulse on. How long is your boot camp really going to take? I do have a video about the boot camp that I took, which was Design Lab, and talking about the timeline, since it wasn't really what I thought it was going to be, so feel free to check that out and I'll put it in my descriptions below. All right, another reason you should change into UX design during this time is if you have a current job that you can lean on. During this time, especially with a potential recession coming up, I highly suggest that you hold off on quitting your current job. I know it's really easy to think, you know what, I'm so miserable in this situation and I can't do this any longer and I might as well go full throttle into UX, but given the circumstances right now, I just don't feel like that is a safe bet. And I know on the flip side of that, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Mimi, I would never quit my job without something lined up, but you would be surprised about how miserable people can get in their careers, so much so that they're like, you know what, I quit today. Personally, when I enrolled in the UX bootcamp, I made sure that I was going to stay in my current position as an account manager. If I didn't have that, I don't know what type of financial income I'd have, and I would just start chipping away at the savings that I saved up for emergency situations. All right, and the last one is pursue a career in UX design if this is your dream. Honestly, sometimes I'm just like, screw everything, whatever about the economy. The economy's gonna do whatever it wants to do. Not one person or job or industry is going to be immune to times like this, and you can't fully insulate yourself with safety, and you really can't control what's going to happen. But what you can control are your actions. And sure, you can totally let this stop you from moving forward, but if you cannot stop thinking about it 24/7, like you literally are debilitated because you're like,
I just want to be a UX designer so bad,
I have the savings, like I'm in a good situation, I feel stable where I am, then like screw it, go for it. All right, moving on to the more tricky topics of this conversation, which is why you shouldn't pursue a career in UX design during a time like this. So you shouldn't if you're picky about the types of UX design jobs that you want. Job descriptions for UX designers are still very much a work in progress. I would say a good handful of companies have really good job descriptions that are very clear and very in line with what UX designers typically do. But some of the less mature or smaller companies that don't really understand UX, it can get kind of messy. But with the recent layoffs and downsizing of companies, I've noticed a lot of the job descriptions are becoming more and more how do you say, bloated. And what I mean by this is I'm seeing a lot more job descriptions with less UX related requirements like graphic design or print design. And I can tell that they're really just trying to squeeze one designer into a role and have them do everything that's design related. And why I bring these job descriptions up is because back in the day when I was done with UX bootcamp, I felt like I could be a little bit more fluid in the jobs that I wanted to apply for, whether or not that was just strictly UX research or interaction design. But these days it feels like since the pool is shrinking and shrinking in terms of the jobs that are out there, it wouldn't be wise to go in thinking that your first job has to be a UX research position or has to be an interaction design position. But by no means am I saying that the designers today that are learning UX need to know how to code
and create posters and stickers.
That is not UX related. All right, the second reason why you shouldn't pursue a UX design career during this time is if you're just not ready to commit. Trust me, I totally get it. When I was thinking about becoming a UX designer, I was so freaked out because I really didn't know what it was going to be like, and I was so scared that it wasn't going to be worth it. In any way you're feeling uncomfortable or you're just really not confident about it at all, I would try and wait it out a little bit, and during that time still try and understand what UX design is and maybe even immerse yourself in some free courses. I actually do have a link in my description for a free 7-day trial for SKILLSHARE. It will help support this channel and help me continue to give you all free content. The last reason why you shouldn't pursue a career in UX design is if you're not willing to take a pay cut or work for free. I definitely talked about this in my other videos, and I feel like salaries for UX designers are incredibly glamorized. A lot of people have this misconception that once you become a UX designer, you immediately make 6 figures and you're just yachting around the world and you're just like Mr. Worldwide. Pew, 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 pew. But that's not the case. I started out as a UX intern and I did not work for any type of coin, not Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Grandma coin, whatever coin. And this is definitely an unpopular opinion that I just thought of. Companies, because they are downsizing and shrinking, there might be more positions and internships out there that actually don't pay you because they can't afford it, but they still need your help. And it's sad, it sucks. Like, it's definitely a feeling of being taken advantage of. But I mean, there is a benefit here. You get to put on your resume that you're a UX design intern and you're able to actually work on projects with real stakeholders that had real impact with real users. Another unpopular opinion and totally my own assumption, I am not an economist. No, honey, I am not an economist. I could also see the salaries for entry level shrinking a little bit because at this point in time, companies are really looking for vets of the UX design community. I could also see them cutting the budget a little bit for those more entry level salaries. And why this is important to just understand is because I see a lot of aspiring UX designers wanting to come into this industry because of the money. Keep that in mind before you go into UX, and that's why having a financial security net is so important, especially when gas prices are freaking arm and a leg, and I swear milk costs $10. That's an exaggeration. I have no idea. I only drink oat milk, which is ironic because it's fancier and probably more expensive than cow milk, but why are we talking about milk? Why are we talking about milk? Now I want to get down to my super honest answer. Is this all worth it? Is this something I should really do? If I had the financial stability, and this is something that I had been dreaming about for years, of doing something that would grow my career and make me feel fulfilled in my 9-to-5, I would do it. I just can't see the economy ruining my chances so badly that it wouldn't be worth it to start now. You can watch a lot of my other videos about like my fears and overcoming, and motivating myself into UX career, but I will always say one of my bigger regrets is that I didn't start earlier. But again, I don't live your life. I don't wear your clothes. I don't see what you see in your bank account. I have no idea what kind of things your future holds, whether those are other adult responsibilities. So it's up to you, but know that UX will always be there. I know that's a bold freaking statement and people are gonna come for me for that, but if it's not called UX design, it's gonna be called something else in the future. If it's not computers, we'll be working on robots. If it's not robots, we'll be working on little aliens that look like Furbies. I don't know. We'll be waiting here for you. If you need to take a moment and be a responsible adult, the computers will be here waiting for you. Twitter, Elon Musk, whatever. We got you. I'm done. I'm done with my rant. I want to go home. I hope this made you feel a little bit better in trying to figure out where you want to take this, how you want to approach UX design as a career. Ready to learn more about what it's like being a real UX designer? Then you're going to want to watch this video next.